What's going on? Sean, Nate, Grant, Isaiah Buffkin here with y'all today. I'm gonna just basically talk about game ones of round two. As we know, the playoffs are continuing. So our takes on how each game one went in the 4 games that took place the last 2 days. And we'll also look into tonight's game twos between the Knicks and the Sixers, and then the Wolves and the Spurs. So should be some good discussions as always. Looking forward to this for sure. I guess let's start obviously with Monday's games. We'll start with that, but I think we got to give predictions first. Based on I guess we'll get into how game ones win, things like that. But I think we should start with predictions for each series. So the Knicks and Sixers, based on game one, what are y'all predictions for that series? I'm gonna go Knicks and 6 here.
Yeah, I'm going Knicks in 5. I'm not going to overreact too much to game one, but I still did see some things, obviously, and some injury reports that came out today. So we'll talk about that, obviously.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sean. Probably Knicks in 6. It is sad that Embiid's not going to play his second game, but we'll see if Philly can still get one.
If Embiid was fully healthy, I was gonna pick the Sixers, but without Embiid, I think they're drawing dead. So I think it'd definitely go Knicks in 5. Probably. I'm with you, Grant, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that. The Spurs and Wolves. I said this before game one, and I'm gonna stay with it, of course, because obviously what happened in game one, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going Wolves in 7 here, and I think the inexperience of the Spurs this deep into the playoffs, although they do, have great defense and Wemby, I think it catches up to them a little bit. Plus, Anthony Edwards coming back in game one, I think was a huge boost for them as well.
Yeah, I think originally I didn't know if Anthony Edwards was going to play again in the playoffs, and so now that he's back, I'm still going to keep the same team that I picked. I'm going to go with Spurs, but I'm going to take them in 7.
I hate that. I didn't get to watch a ton of the game. I did see the highlights afterwards. I mean, Wemby had a crazy game defensively, but offensively, I know he wasn't hitting all the shots that he could have. I think I initially had picked the Wolves, but I'd like to see this one go at least 6 or 7 games. I think this is one of the more exciting series just because of, like you were saying, the Wolves experience, but then also with, how Wemby's been playing. I think it'll be fun to see this go more than 5 at least.
I'm going to go with the Spurs, probably in 6 or 7. I think I'm leaning towards 6. I see Ant was able to make his return. However, he don't look like the Ant that we all know. Of course, he's a little bit hampered, but he did have a phenomenal fourth quarter in game one. But overall, I don't think Julius Randle is going to be the man that you can rely on to be the man this series. He had a good first game. I think the Spurs will come back with defensive adjustments and make sure that he doesn't get off like he did last game. So I'm going to go with the Spurs in 6.
Okay. And then you got the Thunder and the Lakers. I gave the Lakers 1. I said Thunder in 5. But based on what happened last night, it could be 4 games, but 4 or 5 easily.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Legault. This is a sweep, unfortunately, with no Luka.
And Sean, didn't sound like you were saying that earlier. I feel like you were riding that Laker train a little bit. So it's kind of sad to hear you say that. But game one was frustrating. I feel like just because offensively, I feel like the Lakers couldn't really get anything going. I mean, it's hard to play in OKC as is, but when they're hitting the shots that they were, and also when Austin Reeves isn't really giving you much, it's tough. So I would probably say Thunder in 6. I want to see the Lakers at least get 2 if they can't win them at home. Like something.
I got them drawn. I had them even with Luka. I had them drawn dead in this series. I have Lakers in 4. Of course, now that Luka isn't playing. With Luka playing, I would probably have them in 5 or 6. But yeah, I just don't think they have enough talent-wise to compete. The Thunder are younger, deeper, and more talented throughout the roster. So yeah, overall, I'm just without J-Dub too included, and he might even make a return in the series. So yeah, I don't have the Lakers.
Yeah, same. I don't think Grant might be the only one that has, Grant and Nate might be the only 2 people that got faith in the Lakers just because they brought.
Hey,
I mean,
anything's
I got
possible,
faith,
bro.
but I just said they gonna get swept. I think they're still gonna get swept, but I believe though. I believe it could be done.
Well, and Vando going down, he had a pretty bad injury with his hand. I mean, I know he isn't like a main piece for that team, but still just defensively having another lanky wing defender. But on the same hand too, it's like offensively he wasn't giving you a ton. anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think any of their role players, like Marcus Smart, played great in the Houston series. Luka played great in the Houston series. Andre Ayton had his moments in the Houston series. I don't think OKC is going to let up and give them 20-point games consistently, if they get any.
Yeah,
So.
true. True. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that game one here. But let's get predictions of Pistons Cavs. I went Pistons in 7 just because I mean the Cavs are decently good, but I don't know. We'll get into talking about game one, but my prediction could change here based on probably like tomorrow's game. But I think for now I'm stick with Pistons in 7.
Yeah, this one honestly, this is going to be a good series. It really is. We'll dive more into it, but I'm with you there in the 7. However, it pains me to say it though. I don't know, man. We'll get into it, but I got Cavs in 7.
Oh,
I know.
that's not what you were saying earlier this year.
Well, things changed. It's playoff times now. This ain't the regular season no more, Nate.
I mean, I still got faith. I got Pistons in 6. I think mainly, I mean, based on last year's Cavs, they have not played well on the road. So I'm hoping that Detroit can get these 2 games at home. And then, I feel like Detroit's been playing decent on the road, at least when they were in Orlando. So if they can steal one in Cleveland, that'd be great. But for now, the way Cade's been playing, I think he's probably the best player in this series. So for right now, I got to, stay with Detroit.
Yeah, I also am going to be going with Detroit in around 6. I just don't think the Cavs can match the physicality that the Pistons bring. I think Duran is going to have a way better series than he had last season. Series. I believe Cade, he's going to be too much for the guy in front of him. They're going to end up sending double, so it's probably going to come down to our consistency shooting, which I know is not our strong suit, but I do feel as if Jalen Duren and Paul Reed and Isaiah Stewart are going to kill the offensive glass. I just frankly think Evan, he should have the advantage in this series, but I think he's going to end up being too light, not being physical enough to impose his will on the game. And I overall think our defense is really going to bother Harden and Donovan all series. Like we put them into a bad shooting night the first game. I think that's going to continue. I think Harden especially is going to struggle in this series. Donovan, I think he'll have his breakout 30-point, 40-point games, but I don't think it'll be enough overall to overcome the Pistons' wear and tear on them physically.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think physicality is the main thing that's going to be in this series. Graham, we gotta definitely hear what you got to say about your Cavs take. But let's go back to Monday's game ones. Look at game ones. Minnesota beats the Spurs. Surprisingly, 104, 102. Ant did return. He played off the bench, 18 points. Stephon Castle, he fouled out with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And like you guys said, Wemby set a playoff record, most blocks in a game with 11. For me, I think having Ant back definitely gave the Wolves some boosted confidence. Having an additional guard, because Iowa's still out, and we all know they won't have Dante for the rest of the season. So yeah, I think that definitely helped. And I mean, for the Spurs, they definitely have it. But I'm not. I guess why this kind of goes into my prediction of 7. I don't trust Champagnie and Keldon Johnson to continue to be hitting at the rate that they were hitting all season, last series, and going into this series too. So I think it'll fall off a little bit in just like the play overall. Though the Spurs played great, I'm not gonna lie. Both teams, it was back and forth for each game. Spurs would do something, Minnesota would answer. Minnesota would do something, Spurs would answer. So it was back and forth. But yeah, no, it was a great game one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, my notes I had, I echo a lot of what you were just saying there as well. Like some of the younger guys for the Spurs, yeah, like you mentioned, kind of look like they're playing well. Another guy like Dylan Harper, again, not crazy, but just does not look like a rookie out there. So that's kind of, things like that are just obviously improving the team. But really, there's one place I looked for the Spurs, and it was, De'Aaron Fox he just got cooked all night. Unfortunately, it was just one of the probably worst games you've seen him have in a while, I should say. And so I think obviously if he can get back on track, because it was both offensively and defensively. I know in the third quarter he just had 3 straight turnovers. There was one little string there. It's 4-14 shooting if I recall. Just you don't expect that. And then another thing too, you expect Wemby to hit at least a couple threes. I mean, he took 8 of them. Not all of them were bad looks, so he got a couple like 2-for-1 opportunities he was going for and stuff. But I mean, they're open threes, so like at the end of the day, I think the Spurs played very well, and I think the Timberwolves played basically like just as well. Probably played one of their better games in terms of Ant's minute restrictions and stuff, and kind of how he's limited. And I definitely echo what Zay was saying. I don't think Julius Randle is going to be the guy that takes them. I think the Spurs are going to be quick to react and game plan better defensively, kind of around kind of him, if you will. And so with that, I think all of those factors, obviously, great win for the Timberwolves. I'm still kind of shocked they did win it. It just kind of seemed like no matter what like the Spurs were just going to win that game. But obviously, kudos and hats off to them. So it'll be a good series, but that's why I'm going to go with the Spurs still.
Yeah, what you said, Grant, De'Aaron Fox has got to be better. For him to be outscored by Mike Conley, who's, 100 years old at this point. I mean, I love watching him play, but if the Spurs don't win tonight by 20 points, I will be a little concerned just because I think when you have those off nights from one of your star players like that, it is good that, Harper had a good game, but you can't always rely on that. And I think for what they need Fox for, he's got to be a lot more aggressive. Too, the shooting, it is a bad night, but I think too, as he gets more comfortable with the defenses that they're throwing out against him, hopefully he'll be able to kind of find his spots a little bit better in this second game here. I think maybe they just kind of got punched in the mouth at the beginning of that game, and it just kind of carried through. But I do, I mean, props to the Timberwolves being able to fight during that game. I'm Wemby having 12 blocks. I don't really think they were deterred at all from continuing to try to go to the basket and challenge him. So that was something that was positive to see out of them. Just because, I mean, when you see Wemby in the paint, you probably don't want to always challenge him, but it definitely didn't seem like they cared.
Yeah, I agree. Game one reactions. I believe this series is going to come down to how much you believe in De'Aaron Fox. They brought him in here to be the closer. They brought him in here to be the guy that they can go to in a tight game, down 2, up 1, close the game for us. So, and I have the utmost faith in De'Aaron Fox, actually. I know he had a bad night in game one, but overall, I think he'll get back, he'll shake back. He missed a couple of shots that we've seen him make, and uncharacteristic turnovers. So I believe going down into the series he's going to play better, of course. I also believe Dillon played 30 minutes. They might find a way to start him before the end of the series. He is so talented. He is a monster. And it's unfortunate that he has to be in the situation that he is, that he's behind pretty much 2 all-star guards. Steph hasn't been an all-star yet, but we all see that trajectory from him. But I think he's going to make a big impact on the series as well, even if he has to do it with the bench unit. And I believe in the Devin Vassell's of the world. I know, Sean, you said you don't believe in them hitting shots for a 7-game series in a rough environment like Minnesota, but I believe in them guys. On Minnesota's end of things, see, if Ant was 100%, that might swing my vote, because Ant at 100, we all know Ant can do it 100%, and he favors the OKC match. I mean, not OKC. I'm sorry, the Spurs matchup so much. He's averaged 35 on them for the season, which is kind of ridiculous. But that having him hampered and having to go to Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels as their number 1 scoring options, I just don't think that's gonna get it done in a 7-game series. Gobert's been playing his ass off, trying to show why he was a DPOY, for 4-time DPOY. But overall, I don't think they're gonna have enough to overcome the Spurs at the end of this.
See, the Spurs, I feel like they do have a little bit more offense than the Wolves in this one because of, the Vassell's and the Champagnes and things. But I just feel, like I said, the experience, I just feel that Minnesota is going to have the upper hand there. And, I mean, they've been at, 2 straight Western Conference Finals? Yeah. They're trying to make it 3 and, hopefully see OKC and beat them, in the Western Conference Finals to get to the finals. But I think, a true thing, too, when you mentioned it, too, earlier, Zay, but, Julius Randle, what kind of Julius Randle can we get? And, Rudy, I mean, he did a little bit, containing Wemby in game one. And so I'd like to see, what he can continue to do throughout the series. Because, like I said, I think that'll be, a good matchup down low there. So, it's going to be a good series. I think this, obviously, out of the second round, I think this will probably be the best one maybe the closest one, just based off that game one and how that went and everything. So then the Knicks, they whooped the Sixers 137-98. Basically, New York dominated in all aspects of the game. Brunson went crazy, 35 points. But, I will say, Philadelphia had a similar outcome in game one against Boston. They kind of looked like it was like, dang, Boston put it all on them, and they were looking like they were just going to run away with the series. But then, the Sixers came back. Obviously, like you guys mentioned earlier, no Embiid, at least for game two. Be interested to see, what it if he can come back during the series. He has not played 6 straight games since December 2023, which is crazy. So basically, he can't finish the series. If it was to go to like 7 or something, he got to miss a game. But yeah, what are y'all takeaways from that game one there?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna overreact too much to it, 'cause I mean, very like emotionally filled win for like the 76ers, off of Boston there, and then very quick turnaround to go into a very hostile, New York team there. So wasn't like, I mean, obviously concerned with the score, 'cause, it wasn't good, but I'm not gonna put like too much pressure on like that game one there. You had mentioned like Brunson, he looked really good. He looked completely in control of the whole game out there. Um, I mean, I think you gotta throw like a bigger guy on him. I mean, even throw Paul George. I mean, just try something. I mean, you can mix up some rotations out there. Um, but you gotta find a way to affect him if you're Philly there, because I mean he just looked in complete control. I mean, start to finish, it really wasn't even much of a game, to be honest. I'd turn that off, you know, basically third quarter, midway through that, if that. It just, yeah, it wasn't great. And Tyrese Maxey, I think, just needs to shoot the rock more too. I mean, he only shot 9 times, 3 for 9. Personally, I just like to see him more involved in the offense. Doesn't even have to be shooting necessarily, but I think that is when he is shooting his best out. When he's shooting his best, I think the team's going to play at their best level there. And yeah, I mean, really just also kudos last thing I had in this to the next team. I mean, they were shooting the lights out. I mean, OG Anunoby's been red hot this whole playoff, so a lot of kudos to him. But yeah, this series could get ugly though if the 76ers don't reel it in quick.
I agree with that. I think for especially what you were saying with Maxi, he's got to be more aggressive on offense, get some more touches, and it probably does play into the fact that they only had a day or so to rest and then play another game. So New York, they had a little bit more time to get ready, but with Philly too, I feel like they just, especially without Embiid, they got to be even more desperate at this point to try to sneak out a win. If they can't get one on the road, then you got to take care of business at home, and we'll kind of see how that goes. But tonight, I mean, hey, Sean, it might be playoff P time. It might be time for PG to turn back the clock a little bit. I'd love to see a great performance out of him. I feel like he's been playing really well defensively, but even offensively too. He's been making some big shots. So I want to see how they come out tonight aggressively. But for New York too, I mean, it does seem like Brunson's kind of finding his groove as well, like offensively. I feel like he's had now a string of games where he's putting up at least 25 plus. So that's obviously a plus for them just because he is kind of their motor of their team. So I would probably say that New York takes this one at home too, but it is dependent, I think, on how, aggressive Philly shows up as well. I think they could keep it close. I know the spread right now is like 10.5, so we'll kind of see if it gets as ugly as it did game one.
Yeah. This is the second time that well, probably third that Maxi came out here and didn't shoot enough. And I know he knows he didn't shoot enough, but I also think that this is really his first playoffs being the guy. So I feel like he's just going through them growing pains. I feel like this is going to be that series for him where he realizes, okay, this is what real playoff basketball is like. Like the Celtics was good, but this one is like second round. We're a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more on the line. It's a little bit more intense. You're going against a better team. And I think overall he's gonna get it together. He's gonna play better. But the Knicks, they just found their groove, man. They have all the momentum. They stopped playing Brunson ball, started moving the ball around. Everybody's touching it. Brunson's playing off the ball, getting easier looks from three. And ever since they've been doing that, he's been on a tear. Like, I don't really know who you put on him if you're the 70s. I feel like VJ is your best bet, but he's too young. He doesn't have the experience to be able to deal with a fully seasoned Jalen Brunson that's made it to the Eastern Conference Finals before. I don't know if he has the facilities to do that yet. Of course, I feel like he can get there because He's that good of a player. He's just young. He just has to get that experience. So I think overall it's going to be tough, especially with no Embiid, because even Sean was saying they came back in the last series. They only came back due to Embiid returning. Without Embiid, they were down 3-1. So yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for them to turn the series around. I picked them in 6. I picked the Knicks in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it in 5, though. If I'm being completely honest, I just think they're the better team. Cat's gonna be an issue all series. Brunson's gonna be an issue all series. I don't really see the light for where the 76ers can really put up a fight for a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think another thing too. I mean, you guys both mentioned like Maxey got to be more aggressive. I would like to see a Paul George game. Like, if there was a game where he goes off for like 30 points, that'd be great. Probably get tested after the game like he did last time. But I mean, it would be good, for him to finally have, his playoff moment. He's kind of been playing second fiddle, with Embiid coming back, and now that Embiid's out, Paul George can step up and maybe hold it. I don't think that Embiid is going to be out for the season. I mean, they didn't really say. I think it's more of like a game to game thing. But I mean, we'll see. What he can, if he can come back, and how that'll kind of affects the series if it does end up affecting the series. So, yeah, I think though Knicks in 5 or 6. I don't think that if Cat plays the right way too, I will say that if Cat plays the right way how he's supposed to be, yeah, I think they'll get it done easily. And then Tuesday's Detroit beat the Cavs 111-101. Jalen Duren finally woke up, had his double. Jared Allen got in foul trouble early, kind of helped the Pistons a little bit more. The defense was on all night. And 19 turnovers, and that was converted to 31 Detroit Pistons points. So that was a big thing for the Cavs. Obviously, I want to get your thoughts on you guys' thoughts on this, but especially Grant, because you said the Cavs, and I'm really trying to figure out how, because James Harden, we got a great James Harden performance, playoff performance from him, and like Evan Mobley, he has not. I don't think he has shown maybe like 2 games, but he hasn't really shown this postseason that he can be the dominant player that, we're all waiting for or expecting him to be. So yeah, I still got Pistons, maybe even 6, depending on, what they can do. But the Cavs struggled on the road. In the first series, they didn't win any road games. Now they're 0-4. Obviously, game 2 will be, they're going to come out and try to get that game. But I will say last thing, just I like the way the Pistons opened the game from start to finish. We were on it. JB once again calling timely timeouts. And then, when they tied the game, bringing back Cade and setting up Jalen Duren, that was perfect, because Jared Allen was in foul trouble. And, you had, again, Evan Mobley kind of just, I don't know, just doing whatever, pretty much.
Oh yeah, don't crucify me here, but no, I'll give a couple things. Just game 1 reaction, like it really did look like the weight of like 18 years or whatever of Pistons like not winning a series or whatever it was. Like you could just kind of tell. I think once they got through that Magic series, like this game 1 looked way different than basically any game like in the first series. Again, like yeah, like very young team, 60 wins, like number 1 seed. I think that was just a lot of pressure, and the fact that like we didn't necessarily start off hot, and it was like, shoot, okay, what do we do from here? And then we really, kind of turned it around, I'll say. So definitely looked a lot different than the first playoff series there. Yeah, I'll say like I have in here, like, James Harden obviously didn't play his greatest game. Played better in the fourth quarter, that's for sure. But like Donovan Mitchell got off to a hot start there. So he kind of kept him in it there. But I mean, early on, we were dominating them pretty good, and I kind of thought, we'd kind of just run them out the gym for a little bit, but they always just kind of hung around in there. And I think a large part of that is what you mentioned earlier there. Pretty sure, like, yeah, was it 3 fouls in like 6 minutes for Jared Allen? I mean,
Yeah.
that I think was a huge loss for them. I think that kind of changed up a lot with them. So I think obviously, like, if that's not something, how does that look moving forward then, like in game 2? Because again, like Cleveland shot 37% from like 3-point line. They weren't shooting it like bad. They weren't shooting it like, phenomenally by any means, but it was definitely, they, shot the ball pretty well from 3 overall there. But really where I think Pistons, kind of just killed them at was like the offensive boards. We were all over in there. And then the turnover battle, like you mentioned, we forced 19 turnovers. Forget the exact rebounding numbers. but I know we had them beat on the offensive glasses there as well. With that, I think part of that you can go with on the offensive glass with Jared Allen there. Again, all that said, I'll kind of get into my thing real quick. Why I think Cavs. We only got 2 guys right now that are shooting over 30%, from 3-point line. It's tough, and I think at some point the Cavs are going to put so much pressure on Cade. We already see what it's like when Cade's not on the floor. When Cade goes off the floor for like 2 seconds, basically just add 10 points to the other team. It's what it feels like. It's just there's something about it when he goes off. We just don't know how to run the offense. It's a true testament to Cade as well, but I think at some point they're going to start to figure that out a little bit because, again, if you can do that, if you can stop him there, you almost have to force Detroit to shoot the ball. And if you do that, that's what my thing is. I don't know how we'll stack up well because matchups are big. We obviously know how it is in the playoffs there. For that reason, I think we played one of our better games, like you mentioned, start to finish. I don't think the Cavs necessarily played great, and it was like a tied ball game, in the fourth quarter when we were up big and, early on. Just seems to be a common theme there too, and it's like we gotta lock that in if we want, win these big games in the playoffs, which we did, of course, this game. But how is that going to look forward going for the rest of them?
I respect that. I think, I don't even know if really Mitchell, I think he just started off really aggressive. He did hit those, I think, 2 threes just within the first 5 minutes of the game. But ever since that, we really kind of locked in on him and tried to force other guys like Strus or Harden to try to make some shots. And, getting Allen in foul trouble definitely helped. I think it kind of cleared up the paint a little bit for guys to get some better looks inside. But if Tobias and Duncan can shoot the ball like they were in game one and kind of carry that offensive second for us, then I think we don't have a ton to worry about. I feel like the only thing I would say too is I think our bench is probably a little bit better in terms of defensive wise, but even I just think Cleveland's bench, I don't really know who on their bench. I know Strus came off their bench, but I think he started some games last series too. Who else is going to be helping scoring when, Mitchell or Harden isn't in there? You would think it would be Allen or Mobley, but I do think it's going to be hard for them to try to find points down the stretch when they really need it from some of those secondary guys. But I think, what you said, is the series is probably going to go 6 or 7 games. I think it probably does come down to that big man matchup with Allen Mobley and Duran and either Stewart or I don't think Reed really even played much this game, but I think they're going to matter a lot in terms of battling on the boards. But if Cade, when he wasn't in the game, it was hard to see, because they kind of went on a run there. But he really does slow down the offense a lot for us. It just seems like they're a lot more poised when he's out there. So I'm hoping that game 2 is a similar story. Maybe we can kind of hold them to a slow first quarter like we did. But we'll see too. I think it is a good matchup for us. It's a good test too if we do win the series and have to go up against a New York or Philly to where, there are teams too that have multiple different options scoring wise. So I'd like to see us kind of continue our defensive aggressiveness how we've been playing though.
Yeah,
that is true. Man, y'all know me, man. I'm a Cavs guy through and through. I love me some Donovan. I love me some Evan. Mostly Donovan, though. But I need, for them to win the series, I think Evan Mobley is really going to have to be that guy to really assert his dominance in the series. I think he has the most favorable matchup. I think him on Tobias, I think he has to continuously outplay Tobias for them to win this series. I think he's capable. I know he doesn't get as much touches as he may want, or as many looks as he may want, but I think if he outplays Tobias both offensively and defensively, it's gonna make it a way harder series for the Pistons to win. I believe Asar hounding Donovan, he's gonna force him into some turnovers. Even Cade on Harden, he's gonna force him into some turnovers. So I think as long as Evan Mobley and Donovan can stay consistent and provide good offense, I think they should be feared. I think that will cause the series to go 7. And then at that point, it can tip either way. Harden, I don't even want to get into Harden. He's 36. He's an old guy now. It's the same story with him. I actually think he'll play better though. I still think he will have turnover issues, simply just because of the ball pressure that the Pistons bring. It's hard not to have turnover issues against the Pistons. So I think he will have turnover, but I think he'll shoot better. He'll get more aggressive and find the spots more. So I'm hoping, man. Because if not, is up for a contract, Harden's up for a contract. They're gonna have to make some tough decisions going into the offseason if they can't get past the Pistons. On the Pistons end of things, we all know where our bread and butter lies. It's all in the physicality. Be bigger, stronger, faster. We don't have that many skilled players, as everybody knows. We don't have that many shooters. However, if Tobias keeps shooting the way he's been shooting, that Pistons team is going to be hard to beat, man. It's just if we can have if Tobias can turn into a reliable second scorer to give us 20 to 25 a night, with the production that Cade brings to the table, it's going to be very, very, very hard for the Cavs to win that game, especially if Jarrett Allen versus Duren continues to be an issue, especially if Evan doesn't fight for those boards and try to average 15 and 11. That's why I do see the Pistons winning, because I believe Duren, Stewart, Ball, Paul, they're just going to make it a living hell for the bigs down there. And I think we have adequate enough perimeter defense with Asar and with Cade and with Ron. Even Ron getting his burn is going to make it very hard for Donovan and my guys to compete. So, yeah, man, fortunately, that's what it looked like all game one. Maybe they stake back with a new strat. I want to see what Kenny comes up with, but the way I see it, yeah, I got the Pistons, man. I really do. I don't know how we match physically with we don't match well enough physically with them. Even Strus, and then you got Dog and Dennis. You said where the bench points gonna come from. Dennis is a monster. Dennis provides good minutes off the bench for them, but I don't.
No,
think
he
it's good
definitely
enough.
did. I mean,
I don't think it's good enough.
I feel like you could tell like he was helping their offense a lot when he was playing, but it was just too like because he was handling the ball so much, it wasn't like he was trying to look for his shot. I feel like he was trying to find other guys. So maybe yeah, in game 2 he can try to hit some, bigger shots for them, but I think too, like Cleveland, they kind of seemed in that fourth quarter at least, they got it close, and then I think, with Harden trying to score a little bit more, they just wanted to, I think, try to see how, if he can help their offense a little bit more, and then by the end of it, it just seemed like they couldn't really get a stop. So, they might be able to score with some of those guys down the stretch, but if they can't get a stop on us, then it's going to be hard for them.
Agreed.
Yeah, I just don't see like Evan Mobley. This would be a series where Evan Mobley should look like the best player on the court, like no question. It should be down low, right, bullying Tobias, getting Duren in foul trouble, bullying him. Like he should be going at him. And it looks like Jarrett Allen, even when they play Toronto, like it looks like Jarrett Allen is being the more dominant big than Mobley. And yeah, I think the Cavs are frauds. Y'all know that. But two, I just don't see a way that, especially like earlier in the game, you mentioned like Harden showing up in the fourth quarter, shooting a little bit more, but like where was it during the first 3 quarters? He was doing this thing where he's trying to create for his teammates instead of him being aggressive. So that's just been, him at the end of his career. Same thing. Trust me, I know. I had to watch it for the last 2 seasons during the postseason, and it'd be the same thing. Why aren't you being more aggressive? When he does want to be aggressive, it's a step back 3 or some bad, terrible shot. So I just think, yeah, it's going to be a good series. Oh, obviously, game 1 is not done yet, but I trust the Pistons a little bit more with their defensive intensity. Yes, the offense may be lacking. They might have the upper hand on that end. I think the defense is gonna play a factor into this. And the Cavs have had through this postseason the most turnovers since, I forgot the exact stat, but it's like the most turnovers at this point in the postseason since like 1990s, something like that. So you're going up against a good defense, and you've already had this many turnovers. I expect that to kind of be the theme within the series. And if the Pistons continue to win the turnover battle, and score on these turnover, points, I think the Pistons got this in the bag. But obviously, like I said, game 1, there's some people call it a feel out game, some people call it a tone setter. Obviously, there's a lot to still be figured out, in this series and all these series. And then last one, game 1, OKC. They beat the Lakers 108-98. The score looks a little bit closer than what the game was, but I mean, basically, Thunder ran with it. I turned it off. It was like halfway through the third quarter, because basically, it was like OKC had this in the bag. AR put up a stinker. Chet 24 and 12. Shea didn't even score 20 points because it wasn't even needed for him to go off. The Lakers just look outmatched, outplayed. They're gonna need, like you guys said, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, like the other guys, Rui Hachimura, to kind of step up, and hopefully Luka can come back, maybe game 3, maybe game 4, but they need him in order to have a chance to even win a game in this series. Because right now it's looking like a sweep.
Yeah. No, it's not looking good right now. The very first thing in my notes here was Lakers obviously outmatched. Need Luka to come back.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious there. Yeah, it's just like the first game there, I felt like Lakers, obviously besides AR, he didn't play his best game. We're not getting the same, Marcus Smart that we got like in that first round there. Kennard isn't putting up what he was. I feel like unless you're getting that from those guys, LeBron had a great game. I mean, very efficient. It was like every time even he came out there, like the same thing I was mentioning with Kate, take him out, teams down by, whatever it is now. I mean, Rui had a minus like 24 plus minus compared to like, Bron was a -6. It's just like, yeah, it was concerning just because I didn't think the Lakers played like awful by any means. I didn't think the Thunder played necessarily great, but they coasted. Like they coasted the whole time. Again, like SGA didn't have to even drop 20. It was just a cool 8 for 15. Didn't even get to the free throw line either. He was only 2 for 3 from the free throw line. That was the thing. Just didn't need to really do a whole lot. Just looked pretty easy out there for him. And that's the thing too. I think kind of just on why, AR was struggling too is like the Thunder's greatest like strength is they can just throw so many bodies on so many different people. I mean, Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, Caruso, AJ Mitchell. I mean, all those guys, you can just throw them on. I mean, any time really in the game too, and just keep a fresh body on them. And that's the thing too, because I mean, they know. I think we all know. Unless LeBron drops 60, that's still probably it's gonna be like probably that 2018 Game One final. It'll be just not enough at the end of the day. The other team I think is just so good. I think that's this Thunder's team right here. It's just
Right, you said it right. They look like the Warriors. I see what you were saying. They look like the Warriors.
Dude, they really are right up there with some like the best teams out there. I mean, they just play great ball, and I think like we've all mentioned, this is without like their second best player too. So to see this amount of dominance is pretty insane. And quickly too, Chet had a phenomenal game there. Just soon to be controlling every bit of offensively, whether it be the glass as well too. If this game showed anything, Lakers obviously like I didn't even think they played bad. Like I mentioned, it's just really the Thunder are just I think that much better than a lot of the teams. We'll get to it, and I think we did a video back then too, but. This really could be, start to a dynasty here if we see what I think we might see here at the end of the season.
Yeah,
Dude, this series I can already tell is gonna be so frustrating. I feel like you, like what happened within the last week and a half? Like, does LeBron have to do everything? Like, I feel like yes, Rui played well, and I can't even really speak on him because, like I said before, I feel like Chet, he's gonna win this matchup 90% of the time just because I think his skill set is a lot better. But I mean, Luke Kennard, like 29 minutes, 7 points. He scored 7, 4, 1, and 7 in his last like 4 games. I don't know what they're doing offensively. Austin Reeves, I don't even really know if you can count his 8 points because he got him in garbage time. But 3 for 16, absolutely abysmal.
Cameron Nate.
Dude, and I mean, no offense to Nick Smith Jr. I loved him when he was in Charlotte, but Zay Center here. I do not know why they cut your boy because, like, why would you sign a guy just to not play him? I get he's not really gonna like he wasn't ever gonna be a rotational guy, but like at the same time, I feel like you're just having bench filler at that point. I mean, and you don't even have to give your opinion on that whole thing. I know you got way better ties and way closer relationships than I even will ever get. I'm just gonna speak my piece on this, but man, like I don't want to see this series. Like I don't want to see the Lakers get swept. I don't think anyone does. Other than maybe you, Sean. But
sure.
Me too.
I don't see a way that LA can really like I don't think Oklahoma City fears them at all in any sort of way. So that alone is like, I feel like if you really aren't worried about anyone on their team, then it's going to be tough to even try to like get a game out of them. But man, maybe it's, LeBron loves to do this. These game ones, this feeler game. Give him till game 2 or 3. But man, this was a bad game from LA. JJ Redick, he's gonna have a different game plan for him.
LeBron, 2018 LeBron, try to get him back.
I mean, it's looking like it because at this point, who else is
Full
really helping?
decade later too is crazy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mean to really go on Nick Smith like that, but like, yeah, I feel like they had something going, and then now it's different.
Listen, man. First and foremost, shout out Brian, shout out the King.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
LeBron, he came out there and he played the old man's game, but he did well. You can't really falter what LeBron was doing out there. Besides the point, let me start off with OKC. The way that they try to make you turn the ball over every defensive possession, and they're relentlessly attacking the ball, whether it's on ball, whether it's off the ball, they're just flying around the whole game. I feel like you have to pass the test of being able to handle that type of intensity throughout the whole game. They just kept turning the Lakers over, to be honest, and they're converting on fast break points. They turned the Lakers over, how many times? 19 times, I believe it was? 17 times. They turned the Lakers 17 times. Like, it's going to be hard to win that way because they barely turn over. Even though Shea had probably his worst turnover game, it's just going to be hard to win that way. I feel like I don't know how they get their other players going. Of course, Austin, he needs to hit more shots, but he's like, I think they need to bring him off maybe double screens, but that their switchability is so profound. Like, no matter where you go, whether it's a screen, you got Alex Caruso, whether you got Shea coming off of it, whether you got Dort, Isaiah Joe, whoever switches on that screen is a capable defender. And so you're not just going to sit there and ISO him every game, whether it be a guard to guard or a big screen. Because even if Chet come out there, it's not going to be an easy mark to get your bucket on. So it's just kudos to them for the team that they've created. Shout out Sam Presti. Yeah, they just played amazing. And like you said, Chet, he deserves so much praise for this game, whether it be controlling the rim offensively and defensively, spacing the floor to perfection, always being in the right spot, whether it be for a dump off, whether it be for a corner three. He just seems to always be in the right area. Can't say enough about the type of player he is. Yeah, that's an amazing team right there. On the Lakers side of things, what they could do better, they need to cut down on turnovers. They got to stop turning the ball over so much. You got to take as much shots as possible to give yourself a chance to win this game. I know that it's not easy, of course, the defensive pressure that they bring. They're going to turn you over a couple times, but you got to stop the ones that are unforced. Stop the dribbling off the ball off the legs. Stop the role players like Jake LaRavia trying to take the defenders off the dribble. You're not going to be able to do that like you were doing last series. It's just, they're just better physically and better defenders, okay, to be frank. But like everyone, I mean, even the betting lines, OKC is the enormous favorite for a reason. It's just, I don't know where the other offense comes from. They had 90 points in a playoff game. I don't know if they get to 115 all series unless they go on a heater. I don't know how so I don't know. Where do you guys think they could get offense from?
They need Reeves to play better. And they're gonna need a prayer and a miracle for Luka Doncic to come back. That's the only way. Because I don't see the way Luka's been playing, even at the end of the Houston series. He had those good 2 games, and then I don't know what he did in between that, but then he did something that his offense is gone. Marcus Smart, he had 1 good game, gone. And then Rui, I mean, like, Rui is right now, like, your second option, and like you guys said, though, the amount of bodies that OKC can throw in them, like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult.
If Luka was there, they would have won that game. I swear, because he just throws in a whole nother element to their team. Yeah. But yeah, exactly what you said. They can't turn the ball over like they did in game 1. But yeah, it's really like, where are you going to find that second option? Really?
Yeah, where are you going to find that second 20-point per game scorer from? Do we trust Rui to score 20 every game? Not really.
No.
The Smart had a hell of a series against Houston, but now that defender on Marcus Smart just look a tad bit different.
Yeah, Thunder are just so much better.
Yeah,
like I mean, all those role guys, like they're just. I mean, it's just not the Rockets. Like I mean, everyone just named right there, Nuke Kennard. He ain't nuking no more. I mean, we ain't. So that's just the thing. It's like I just think the way the Thunder are just so much better at every position than the Rockets are. When our role guys did have great games, not necessarily one-offs. Some of them, yeah, but like. You're not going to get that against the Thunder team. And even if you do, I think you need multiple guys to drop 15, 20 to even really have a chance. And so I don't think you get that unless the miracle happens, and you get your 37-point, scorer back. Then that's a lot of offense. Then you
I'm
can
not
figure
gonna
some
lie
things
though.
out.
Defensively, they played well. Like they scored 108, but they had 70. They scored a lot of turnovers as well. Like their set defense, they forced Shea into 7 TOs. They didn't have 20, which has been pretty unheard of for his dominance throughout these 2 MVP seasons. Their defense did the best they could. I feel like they defended well all game. It's just at some point we gotta put the ball in the net. Somebody besides Bron has to strap it up and be like, "Listen, you can trust me." And we gotta go hit shots. Nothing easy at the rim check. You gotta hit shots.
I honestly, yeah, Lakers just need Luka to come back because they just need a lot because, like you said, Jake LaRavia, I don't know. First of all, he like Nick Smith Jr. In my eyes. I honestly don't understand. I understand why he's out there, but if Luka was playing, he would not be out there. Unfortunate, that the Vando injury happened, so that now he's gonna get more PT. It's just, I wouldn't be surprised if JJ Redick just does something different. He's obviously a great basketball mind, but who knows? Maybe you need Bronny out there or something like that. Honestly, that might be worse. But I mean, you got to try something, see if it's gonna work. Because it's gonna be sweet 4-game series, wraps done with. I don't got much faith in the Lakers. So yeah, and I'm a Lakers hater, so this is kind of just goes hand in
Can we
hand.
pop the question though? Do you think they have a chance with Luka? I don't think they really have a chance with Luka, to be honest.
I think they do. I
You
think
really
they have
do?
a slight chance with Luka. Luka did it before, back 2 years ago. When they went to the finals, they was able to beat OKC, and I think them not having Jalen Williams also brings in another element too.
That's right.
I don't know if they win the series, but
They'll
they
be more
at least
competitive.
get 6-7, game series instead of a 4 to 5 game series at this rate that it's going right now.
We saw the Timberwolves take them boys out in 4 last year. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't think OKC is better than the Timberwolves team. They dismantled they dismantled that Timberwolves team.
OKC's better than what they were when Luka beat them too. Now,
Yeah, they're just better than they were 2 years ago as well. I feel like they're attacking Luka.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're attacking
Even with Luka, they were never going to be favored in the series, but he at least gives them a fighting chance to steal a couple games. It's just tough, man. I don't want to see LeBron go out like this. Plus, he says he might not even want a retirement tour, bro. Imagine if he loses and then he retires, bro. The whole world is not gonna.
I'm done,
They don't even
bro.
know what they're gonna do.
I don't even think he retires after this though. He's averaging this playoff. He's averaging like 24, 25 a game. Like,
hey,
he's playing. He's
he
playing
calls it quits after this.
LeBron has been playing amazing these whole playoffs. He's had probably that one stinker against the Rockets. Other than that, he's been playing amazing all playoffs. So let us hope we got one more.
They best players to show up, in Rui and AR, especially, like I said, hopefully Luka could come back, but yeah, like DeAndre Ayton, don't have any faith in him. He's been terrible all season. So, Chet dominating yesterday. I wasn't surprised by that at all. But it'd be better if he could help on the boards a little bit. Maybe that'll do something. But yeah, like you said, Tuesday, the turnover battle right there was the main story of game one and why OKC was able to win a dub so easily. And then, so real quick, before we close it out here, game twos, we got the Knicks and the Sixers, which I think is about to tip off or is tipped off. What's your predictions round two? I'm going to go Knicks here. I think they win it, especially, without Sixers having Embiid.
Yeah, same thing. If Embiid was playing, I think maybe they would get this one just, after the lull in game one. But no Embiid definitely changes things.
I do want to see Maxey, though, have a better game. Maybe he drops 30 tonight. And then if he gets help from VJ or Paul, PG, I don't know why I call him Paul. I don't think anyone's ever called him just Paul.
Yeah, I didn't know who you were talking about at first. I was like, who?
Wait, Paul Reed? Chris Paul out there?
I was talking about Paul Reed, about Chris Paul. Yeah.
But yeah, New York's probably got this one tonight.
I think the 76ers, if they can keep it close, they can win. I really want the 76ers to win, by the way. I picked the Knicks, but I really want the 76ers to win. I said this in the last pod. I just simply like their players better. I love their players. Their players are fun. They have a fun team. But I think they keep it close. I think Maxey has a way better game. But overall, I think the Knicks come out on top in game 2 as well. Yeah, I think they ride the wave, ride the high that they're on, and they just continue to play a phenomenal basketball game. And they keep home court advantage.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? If Andre Drummond can sink a couple corner threes, maybe things will be differently going into game 3. And then the Spurs and Minnesota, that's nightcap game 2 there. Minnesota up 1-0. I'm going to go with the Spurs in this one. I just think that they're not going to, even though I picked the Wolves to win the series, I think just home court, I think, coming off that game 1, how it went, even at the ends, like I thought that Champagne 3 was green. I thought that was going in, and I thought they were about to win it off a buzzer beater. So yeah, I think they're, reflected off that and going to come out here game 2. It might be close in the beginning, but I think at the end, I think it's going to be like a 8 to 10 point win for the Spurs here.
Yeah, no, I'm big on the Spurs tonight. I think they figure some things out, figure out their offense a little bit more. I think Wemby settles in a little bit more in this series. I think, game 1, feel it out like you said, but Nate, just a little bit for Wemby. I mean, again, he's still very new to the playoffs, so it's like, just a little bit of a different feeling, but I think he'll be great. And then De'Aaron Fox is just gonna have to play better, and I really think he will. I think he'll step up. Like you mentioned, home court, you can't drop 2 at home, so I'm big on the Spurs tonight.
For sure. This is definitely a must win for them. I think, yeah, they can't drop 2 at home and then try to go into Minnesota and steal 1. So Wemby's got to be even more aggressive than he was last game. I mean, shoot, he might have to try to get 20 blocks. So
yeah, I think I agree with Nate. It's a must win. If the Spurs lose, I don't think there's any way that they win the series. I don't think you come down 0-2 against a back-to-back conference final team. Yeah. So I gotta pick the Spurs. If they lose, they're gonna kill my prediction. Have to pick the Spurs. I do think De'Aaron shakes back. He has a good game. I do think Wemby shoots the ball better. He goes from 11 points to about 20, 25. I think De'Aaron shoots the ball better. And I think they do a better job on Julius Randle today. And they come out with the convincing victory. Like Sean said, I think from 7 to 10. I think they win by like 7 to 10.
Yeah, I think this is the Wemby game. I think tonight is a Wemby game. Although Gobert has been playing great defense, I think today he gets cooked. Maybe Wemby gets into a little bit of his KD bag there. Starts hitting some mid ranges and gets him off the dribble a little bit. I'm confident in the Spurs here. And tomorrow's predictions: C and the Lakers convincingly, and then Pistons, Cavs. I think the Pistons get a game 2. I think maybe it might be a little bit closer than game 1, but I think they're confident going into game 2. They can continue come out at a fast pace like they did game 1. I think the Pistons got it in the bag there to go up 2-0.
Yeah, Sean, you like this one. I mean, I think Cavs haven't played good on the road, like you mentioned. I do think there's a little bit more energy in the building. I think we get this one done at home. So I'm going Pistons as well.
I agree with that one. I think Detroit at home has been different. So especially, I feel like too, maybe there's a weird correlation, but every time J-Mo, Gibbs, Goff, whenever the Lions players come to watch the game, we play better. I don't know why. It just hypes the guys up, I guess. And then OKC, LA. I mean, man, I don't want to say OKC. I want to see LA steal 1 and then make it an interesting series. Maybe Luka tried his comeback a little earlier. So I'll just say LA for the fun of it.
Yeah, sure. I forgot too about that one. My fault. I'll also go OKC as well. I won't go too much into it, but I just think Lakers are outmatched, so I'll go Thunder in game 2.
Dang, you're not gonna go with your boy Bron? Yeah. You don't think he's gonna drop 60?
I mean, Brian, he'll do his thing. I mean, no matter what, we winning because we witnessing greatness. But
I think game 2, I got Pistons. Like I said, I think they're just gonna dominate them physically, and I think I got the Pistons game 2. I think the only series this round is with game 7 potential is the Spurs Timberwolves. I think that's the only one that has the potential to go 7. I don't know if it will, but I do see that potentially being a 7-game series. Other than that, though, and then the other game, I think OKC by slaughter. OKC 10 plus. Yeah, OKC by slaughter. 10 plus for sure.
Yeah, I think Shea dropping only 18 points in game one. Yeah, he's ready. You know, he's about to drop a clip. He might go for 50 game two. So just to say, yeah, bye night. So yeah, Lakers need Luka. I think that's about their only hope in that series. So yeah, that's round two, game one, and then game twos are today on Wednesday and then Thursday. So obviously, keep an eye on that. Give you guys all our analysis, insights, things of that matter as the playoffs continue. As we're leading up to the conference finals and then the coveted NBA finals later in June. But that's all we got for now. Until next time, we'll catch you guys.